Welcome to a special Milford Board of Selectmen meeting, Wednesday, January 17th, 2018. It's 6 p.m. at the Milford Town Hall. We have a one agenda item meeting. It's regarding the referendum question on marijuana establishments. We have a letter from the Attorney General dated January 9th approving Articles 14, 15, and 24. And specifically Article 14, which proposes to amend the town's zoning bylaw to prohibit marijuana establishments in all zoning districts in town, with the following exception for the IB Highway Industrial District. I think what we need to do is obviously set a date for the special election for the referendum. I know that there's been communication between myself, interested parties, as well as the town clerk, who's been very active in this process and this conversation. And it seems to me that going back and forth, her main request was that it at least go past the month of February, just so that she can obviously handle all the logistics that it takes to run an election, from securing the voting locations to
absentee ballots,
getting the ballots printed, and very importantly, securing the election workers. March 6th looks like it's a date that quite a few parties agreed to, including the town clerk. But I'll open it up to the board for any dialogue or motions.
Mr. Chairman, one of the notes that I took away from the Attorney General's office, or a memo from the Attorney General, is while they approved the bylaw because in and by itself, the bylaw presented no conflict with state law. So that's the bylaw adopted by our legislative body, town meeting, and was approved, as you just read. She did note, however, that in order for the bylaw to be adopted under Article 14 and have a lawful effect, the voters of the town must approve it. So it's a two-stage process. For those that don't recall, the language was changed to adopt and to allow for existing test facilities and medical growers to take part in this process. And that was the compromise struck at town meeting, and certainly to achieve the two-thirds majority, something was needed in order to change that because of the slim margins on the local election. So I would make a motion to approve March 6th as the election date for the marijuana ballot question.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, real quick, just the general question. Why can't it wait for the general election in April?
Good question.
Good question. I actually had those very similar conversations, and what Jerry had put into writing to us was that even though that could possibly be okay, there are going to be, or could be, regulations from the state that come in by April 1, so that would leave a couple of days of uncertainty.
Okay.
So that's why it was recommended to us to go ahead and choose a date earlier than that. So I think a lot of the thinking was to make sure we give the town clerk all the time that she needs to do this,
Okay.
but also leave enough time in between this special election and then the annual town election, April 3rd.
And she's comfortable, she feels that she can put it together for March 6th?
Yep, that's the last correspondence I have.
Okay, I would second that motion.
Okay, I'll also vote in favor and make that unanimous. Is there any other
Yes.
discussion?
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile also providing Amy the language for that ballot initiative or ballot question. And so without reading the full text and the information that's provided by Jerry Moody, what I'd like to say is that Jerry provided this board with an outline of a ballot question, including footnotes required for zoning purposes, to make this ballot question align and mirror the recent action by town meeting. So what I would like to do is, if everybody has that in front of them, make a motion that we adopt for the language and provide to Amy, our town clerk, the language that Jerry documented for us is in a memo form in front of us. That does mirror that and has been reviewed by council as appropriate. and it meets with this board's intent, and I think what everybody's intent was as we represented to town meeting, that we may have to do. So that's a motion to approve the ballot question as drafted by Jerry in its full text.
And approved by the Attorney General's office.
I don't know if I can say that. I don't know if it was recommended that the language mirror it. That's Jerry's intent.
Okay.
I don't know that the Attorney General got a pre-read on this ballot question, but Jerry's capable, so.
So basically what you're saying, Bill, is you want what Jerry provided us to mirror on the ballot.
Yeah, I want what Jerry provided us to be adopted by this board so that we can provide it to the,
I would second that.
I'll also vote in favor and make that unanimous. Any other discussion?
no, Mr. Chairman.
Mike?
No?
Rick, anything else?
The only thing I just want to remind the board, tomorrow night, we're going to have that roundtable discussion meeting. All departments, boards, committees have been notified. Most have indicated they will be there, had some questions.
Okay.
They will be there with their priorities, best practices, et cetera. The meeting will start at 6 p.m. and it will be in the Upper Town Hall. It is a work meeting among departments, committees, and boards, as well as department heads. So I just remind the board that, and all departments the same thing, of course.
No, thank you, Rick. No, that's great, because I'm not sure if this is,
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. tomorrow night, all
again,
boards.
this was something that was recommended to me while I was attending a Board of Assessors meeting. And that board had asked us to put something like this together and to take the lead on it, which we did. And it's, if it's not the first time it's ever been done, it's the first time in a long time. So we're all looking forward to it, and it'll be a relatively informal working group, and hopefully we can do this again a few more months down the road after we get off to a good start tomorrow. So if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Just a question for Rick. Rick, could you help me just by letting me know who had indicated their inability to attend?
Just two boards right now, Board of Health, of course, the other one's escaping me, sorry. Have not heard from the schools, I'm not sure if
All
they're
right.
going to send a representative.
Yeah, Joe Moranis will be there.
Okay, that answers
Yeah,
that question. So, right now, the Board of Health.
And it follows the agenda that we had outlined.
Yes, they were all provided copies of the
Outstanding.
agenda. Some I've answered questions for, they've called me.
Sure.
And we've discussed it a little more detail. Others said they will be prepared.
Yeah, and
And we wanted to be brief, we did
the
kind of
first meeting,
emphasize
right?
that, yeah.
we'll do our best and try to share some best practices and see how other boards and various departments can help each other. But from there, I think we'll make improvements, and subsequent all hands or all boards meetings would improve incrementally.
Okay,
So let's say you can never have too much communication.
there we go, so.
So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that?
I'll also vote in favor and make that unanimous. Have a good night.
Thank you.